Anne Kearney's mentors were study and contrast. She first worked for the late John Neal, a shy artisan who was just becoming a reluctant celebrity. Then she entered Sturm and Drang with boisterous chef entrepreneur Emeril Lagasse, who is everywhere. Chef Kearney offers a smoked salmon terrine.
We're doing a smoked salmon and Chupik caviar terrine. And Chupik caviar is a local Louisiana product. It is a black, small-egged caviar. We take part of our salmon, smoked salmon. We get a Norwegian sliced salmon. Very important when you're making this mousse that you puree up your salmon first into rough chop. Once you achieve a nice rough chop, you're going to slowly add your clarified butter. It's very important when you add the heavy cream that you don't process it too long, because the heavy cream will break. Everything is cold, and if you add the heavy cream, you might have a nice curdled, separated product. Work it just till it's incorporated. This product is much easier to work with when it's cold again. As you can see, this is quite cold. I'm going to put it in a nice ice-lined bucket here, or a bowl. To this mousse, we're going to add some fresh chopped chives. The fresh herbs are essential. Be careful when you're adding your seasonings, salt and pepper. Smoked salmon's cured with salt, so it probably just needs a little bit to heighten the flavor. I like to add a generous amount of white pepper. And you can add lemon juice. I usually add about juice of 2 lemons. The acidity really nicely balances the flavor in any seafood dish.
The second herb added was chopped dill.
You're going to layer this in a terrine mold. This is a 5-cup terrine mold, which we've oiled and lined with plastic. You'll find that you'll have a much easier time removing your terrine from the mold if it's lined with plastic, rather than struggling, especially after you've put such an effort into making this dish. It'll come out a lot easier for you. So our remaining salmon is lining the mold. We have some for the layers in between. We're going to do alternating layers of mousse. I'm going to start with the mousse. Try and get it as even as possible, keeping in mind that the terrine is a little bit narrower at the bottom. It depends if you are serving this terrine whole on a buffet or at a cocktail party, or if you're going to slice it and put it on a platter. But the presentation, you just need to take care when you're layering the salmon in. Once you've added your caviar, or added your salmon mousse, you're going to add half of your caviar. This is fairly easy to work with. Just need to be careful not to crush your eggs too much, because it will bleed. The caviar is not dyed. It is, however, very it will bleed when its temperature changes too much. So you need to keep, again, you need to keep this very cold. nice evenly spread. I like to cut off this little blood line. It's not necessarily not flavorable, but it's a little bit stronger in flavor, and the color is going to show up when you're slicing your terrine. You want to cover the caviar layer with a layer of smoked salmon. It's not necessary to pack on the salmon because it is a very rich dish, as you saw from the ingredients. So this is more for visual.
The mousse caviar sliced salmon layers are repeated twice.
This is one of my favorite dishes to treat customers to. It goes wonderful with champagne. It's nice and rich and good for a celebration. Top it again with some salmon. Plastic wrap also helps you when it comes time to fold it all together. This will set up. It needs to sit for about safely 8 hours, 6 hours for everything to solidify so that you don't have a problem. And this is not something you really want to have sitting out for too long when it comes service time. It's extremely perishable, and you will have nothing but trouble on your hands if you let it sit out too long. So you want to top it with a lid, stick it in your walk-in or your refrigerator, and you'll have this wonderful dish. Pull it out. Plastic wrap really, really makes a difference in your life. I like to start, depending on how much you're going to use, I like to start and I cut it in the middle. Then you can wrap one half of it and reserve it for later. This is the effect that you get from the layering. Serve a nice, generous slice. The caviar will squeeze out a little bit as you slice it. If you put the sliced side up, you get a wonderful little effect there. We serve this with a little seasoned sour cream or creme fraiche, whatever your preference is. I like to season everything that goes on the plate. Something I learned a long time ago. Here's a little bit of fresh frisee. If you don't have frisee or you don't have fresh dill, pick your favorite green or your favorite garnish to accompany it. If you have a little bit of extra caviar, go ahead and garnish away with that. And if you add just a little bit of olive oil on top, it gets a nice sheen.